What do you think about this Jeannie Mai divorce? Is this typical of Vietnamese women?
Yes. Asian
Damn.
women, I would say probably the Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese. I've noticed in my experience, they're very about status and materialistic benefit. I've noticed it's a common theme. I see it everywhere. And probably the Japanese women, they're probably the only ones that are not like this. But I would say the Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese are all like this.
They have that dragon in them, as she said.
The dragon, yeah, yeah, like the hidden dragon, like Counter Strike, hidden dragon. They hide their true intentions to get their benefits. And Jeannie, she does a very good job at hiding it. She's very manipulative.
Ooh.
Um, because she claims she's real, right? She's keeping it real. She
Uh-huh.
does that on certain topics that are easy to be real about to hide her BS.
Ooh, Brent is based. Now, Brent, for the audience, can you just tell everyone your nationality so they don't think you're just going after?
Vietnamese. I'm Vietnamese, and my
Ooh.
parents, my relatives, they moved on a cargo ship because they were so desperate to get out of there because the culture is so propagandized. Like
Okay.
the meat, it's like so when you have certain people on your channel, which I won't name, they know who they are. When they start, they use manipulative language and they try to use misleading language. I'm very in tune with that because I'm surrounded by people like that, unfortunately. And when you mentioned about her taking the kid to Vietnam, that sounds scary because it kind of is.
Yeah. What would his legal
Because
course
they're
be?
very propagandized.
Yeah.
Like you, and it's kind of like to shelter me away from that. My parents, they don't talk about Vietnamese culture, language. None of that was ever discussed in the household because the culture is so it's so propagandized. It's crazy. And Jeannie, she has her parents kept some of that materialistic benefit, like that kind of culture. It's so transparent to me, but to other
Okay.
people, they
So
don't see it, but
so
I see it. And
because you're
it,
Vietnamese, you're trained to see it because you've seen it so much, you can spot it a mile away. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, like she claims she's so real. No, she's trying to hide her true like I'm so real. I'm no, you're trying to hide who you are.
So,
And
do you think that she didn't have the kid with the first husband because she was the primary breadwinner, or do you?
yes,
Oh,
yes, the money.
oh
It was all about
shit.
the money with her. The Freddie, she didn't want to have. She was desperate for a marriage, the status symbol of a marriage. So but she truly in her heart didn't want to have kids with him because of the money.
Ooh,
And yeah, so but she wanted that marriage because in Asian culture, there's a pressure to get married for some reason. And I think that's common in all cultures, but particularly Asian cultures. And my dad in particular, he always taught me like, do not get married, do not let outside pressures influence any big decision like marriage or business because at the end of the day, you have to live with the consequences. And you have no one to blame but yourself. So you have to be very careful when you enter any business decision, whether it's marriage or any partnership, any business.
uh-huh.
You have to be careful. So
Do you
and
plan?
Jeannie, yeah, she's very manipulative. Like the way she talks, it's reminds me of my bitch. Excuse my language. My bitch sister-in-law.
Oh
Um,
shit.
I'm so sorry, but like seeing people like Jeannie, it boils my blood because I saw her from a mile away, but she claims she's so
Shout out to
real and
Brent
stuff like
speaking
that, and she tells
facts.
stories about how her dad had to take garbage, like get food from the garbage. You might look it up, Henry. Like she tells stories about how her dad had to get food from the garbage can to feed the family,
Uh-huh.
and those are that might be very true, but that does not justify trying her mindset that you should only marry for money, which what she did, and that's why people like Tui Trang, she's so special. Like seeing her, like I've seen so many Asian women in my lifetime, and Tui Trang is probably the only person that I looked up to, and looking back, she's something special, man. Like
Wow,
it's
man.
just so sad that she passed away, and seeing people like Jeannie Mai, she's probably the most famous Vietnamese woman these days, which is kind of
Really?
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
Brent.
and it's unfortunate. I mean, because I think Tui Trang she set the standard for how a real woman, a real strong woman, not just someone who claims that she's real. Because it's easy to be real when like her when you're the quote unquote the boss, but when there's someone with more power, whether
Young
it's money or
Jeezy.
otherwise,
Yeah, Young
it's
Jeezy got more money, so
yeah,
that
I don't know who this young Jeezy guy is. I've never heard of him, but Jeannie Mai, she got a wake up call about cultural differences between the Asian and black. They're very different, and she just married. She was just the one looking after the money. She didn't consider the cultural differences, and she didn't consider she wasn't considerate about any cultural differences that Jeezy might have. Because in Asian culture, the dominant person is usually they get away with that abusive behavior because that's just the way they
so
yell, they scream, they use financial abuse. I've witnessed it personally. They resort to financial abuse to try to control the other partner. And Jeannie, Jeezy wasn't. The culture is very different. She's from California. She knows the black culture, but she was all about the money, so she didn't care. She thought she'd get away with it. Like she's from California. She's from Los Angeles.
Yo, he is kicking her
She
back
knows the
in.
culture. She has to. Like I know the I know the culture here. It's
Okay.
and you cannot get away with yelling at people. That doesn't fly. Like you can do that with Asian people maybe, but
You think she would get away
not
with
with a
that with Asian men?
yeah, she can probably get with an Asian man, especially but if the Asian man makes more money, she'll stay quiet because she's
Damn.
after the money. She's
Shit.
a total coward. Like and she's like,
Holy
"Oh, I was
shit.
so principled. I didn't want any kids." Blah 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 blah. Yeah, because you didn't want to be stuck with child support. But now
Okay.
with Jeezy,
Yeah,
you want the money. You
she
need the money.
she'll definitely collect some child support. Now, Brent, do you ever see yourself getting married?
Oh, I always leave it open. I never say never, but I will not marry someone just because somebody's pressuring me. I mean, I've you hear all the common ways that women they pressure a man. They say, "Oh, my eggs are there. I'm losing my egg count. I'm hitting the wall." I'm like,
God damn. Brent know all the talking points.
I know the manipulative talking part, on your channel, Henry, you push some of that too, like with Lolo Jones, and I understand it makes sense. Lolo Jones, she's kind of crazy, but at the same time, like she is kind of right in a way in that at least is she's transparent, quote unquote, in how she is. She's
She,
crazy, and people know. They know she's
you
crazy,
know
and
she's
if you
crazy.
choose to marry her, then she's gonna say, "Well, you knew who I didn't hide who I
This
was,
is true.
and you still chose to marry me, so that's your problem."
This is
You know,
true.
at least in that respect, she's transparent.
Now,
But you rail on her for the
the
hitting the
career.
wall, but that's a common manipulative tactic to pressure men to get married.
God
And
damn,
women,
Brent. Brent is based out here, guy. He might be a free agent, guys. You live in a free agent lifestyle. Now, do you want kids, Brent?
oh,
Do you get
I leave that open. I never say never, but at the same time, like
you
you know,
I think Brent is coach gang, KJ. I think he coach gang. You leaving kids open now, guys. Do not be fooled by Brent. He does have money. He has a private jet. I did see him front row at Beyonce's concert, and then the next day at the U.S. Open. Brent is a target. Now, do women know you have money, Brent? Do people know?
I keep everything. The thing is, you have to keep everything Asian culture. We are taught to not confront, not
Certain things have to be kept
to
private.
like if someone says racist things or do stuff like that. Keep everything close chested.
Okay.
And my dad always said, "Be humble. Do not show off." Like I don't like we never material things were not important. Like Jeannie is a product of a family where they valued money a lot, and I could tell because I've been around families just like hers
Okay.
that are always talk about money, like always talk about the quote unquote bring the breadwinner. Like I know those things are important in terms of like private conversations you have with your spouse or your partner, but those are things you should not be discussing out loud. Like why shouldn't someone's personality, how they treat you, those things should be discussed out loud. Like any conversation about like money or like quote unquote being the breadwinner versus staying home, those things should be kept private.
So
And
do women know you got the private jet? Do they
the
see
private
do they stalk your Insta? They see you at the US Open, or do they see you on TV like, yo, is that Brent at the US Open? Wasn't he at Beyonce yesterday? Like, does that happen
the,
for
the,
you?
well, I think this is a good advertisement for Frontier Airlines, even though they're terrible.
He just plugged this shit. He just plugged his jet. Go
So
ahead.
they have a all you can fly pass, and they're a cheap airline, but they resort to as I discussed with Henry, the use of used carsman sales marketing tactics. They're their color happens to be green, very interestingly, but anyway,
Okay.
they suck you in with cheap prices, and then once they have you, they nickel and dime you on everything. If your bag doesn't fit into the bin, you're charged $100 at the gate, even though they can fit underneath the seat.
Damn.
So they're very they nickel and dime you everything. If you want something to drink, like an apple juice, it's $5. They nickel and dime you everything.
Hey, you about to
So you
crash
have to
they
be careful
stock.
when you fly with them.
All right, Brent. Anything else you want to let out? And anyone else want to come up? Y'all can come up. My daughter's still asleep. Anything else you want to say going out? Any final message to the audience, or could be regarding marriage? And truth be told, Jonilda was looking forward to you coming up to talk about this
Oh,
subject.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so I'm very aware, like Jeannie, the way like I watched her show The Real because I mean, obviously she's a prominent
Vietnamese
Vietnamese
person.
person, so I do watch her show, and she tries to be quote unquote real. Like it's a bunch of BS because Hollywood culture is very fake. So that shows kind of has some appeal. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's a fake, and she very manipulative, and it's very tough to uh spot those people unless you live with them. Obviously Jeezy has lived with her full time, obviously, and
Yeah.
now he saw the real Jeannie. He saw the dragon came out, and he didn't like what he saw, and I knew that. But if people, if I say, oh, Jeannie's a fraud, people are like, oh, you're jealous, you're a hater, like blah blah blah. Like people on this channel, they hate me too. And because I like people like someone that I won't name, but this person is also uses very manipulative language, and I call them out on it because it's a bunch of bullshit what these people spew. So
Yeah.
Link to Power Rangers and the Turtle Van.
All right. He wants
very
to see
interesting choice of song.
He wants to see the turtle van. He sent me a link. And since he donated, we'll cut to it. But thank you, Brent. I appreciate you
Thank
jumping on, man. Salute to Brent, guys. That was Brent coming on here and kicking Jeannie Mai's back in, if you will. You like, did he kick her? Man, Brent does not play. And shout out to Brent for actually knowing about whatchamacallit, actually knowing about Vietnam culture. So